It's officially fall. This weekend we are kicking off fall with the Dark Academia, very fall, very bookish reading vlog. We've got a cozy fall mug, we have some great books. I honestly haven't been this excited to read a book in a long time. Something about fall just makes reading better. It is Friday evening, I just finished work, and I'm about to dive into some fun reading for this week, and I'm gonna take you guys with me as I read a bunch of Dark Academia / fall books, which we'll get into in a moment. And I also am going to go apple picking, we're going to a night market. I have some very fun fall cozy things planned that I'm gonna take you guys along with me, but the meat of this video is going to be me reading some Dark Academia / fall books. Okay, so like I said, it is a Friday evening and my plan for the rest of the day, I'm probably gonna go on a 45-ish minute walk. I haven't been going to the gym this week because I have been sick. After my walk, I'm gonna come home and my plan for the evening is to sit down and finish The Secret History by Donna Tartt. I am on page 412. I'm really enjoying it, and I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I started reading this a year ago. And I got a little over halfway last September. I was loving it. Then I picked up a different book. I think it was Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow while I was reading this, and that just stole all of my attention. I think during that time I was going through it mentally, and I think I then went into a reading slump, and then I just never picked this back up. It's not that I purposefully DNF'd it, but I kind of accidentally did, and then by the time I was out of my slump and my funk, it was summertime, and you know you can't read The Secret History in the summertime. Anyway, I picked it back up a couple days ago, and I was like, wow, why did I stop reading this? I will say some of it feels dense, and I've heard great things about If We Were Villains being better than The Secret History if you prefer Shakespeare and the arts, which is me. I also want to read If We Were Villains. I do think I'm going to give this a high rating, but I don't know if it's going to be 5 stars. We'll figure it out in the last 100 pages or so. I've been struggling to decide after I finish this if I want to pick up If We Were Villains, which I do have a copy of, or if I want to read The Night Circus, which I just got in the mail today, because I heard someone talking about how atmospheric and just quintessentially fall this book feels. Because someone described it as the perfect fall book and that they had to start a whole different tab while they were annotating it for fall imagery, I immediately purchased it. Before I go on my little walk and I start reading, I'll give you a little synopsis of these. If you don't know The Secret History, which I would be shocked if you don't, this is a Dark Academia book. It follows a group of students and they're in this kind of exclusive, scholarly, I'm better than you class with one teacher. They are abusing drugs, alcohol, and committing some very upsetting things. They commit murder. It's kind of a mystery. There's an unreliable narrator. There's a lot of talk about the Greek texts, a lot of references that are totally 100% over my head. It's eerie, it's atmospheric. I'm eating it up. And then The Night Circus, you're asking the wrong person what this is about. I'm gonna go on my walk, see if I can spot any fall foliage, which I kind of see some out there. One of the trees outside my apartment is turning and I'm very excited. And then come back, brew another cup of tea, and get back to reading. And I will check in with you guys later. back with an update. It is now Monday evening, and I did end up finishing The Secret History over the weekend. You will have seen that I did go to an apple orchard, and I'm not kidding. These apples were like this big. We got 9 pounds of apples, and I'm gonna make an apple pie this week, which I'm so excited about. Did not get as much reading done as I wanted to over the weekend, so we're gonna continue this vlog throughout the week and read more fall/dark academia reads and really just get into our fall mode. For the update on The Secret History, the last 130 pages of this, whoa. I forgot how much I loved reading this. It does get a little bit slower in the middle. It's definitely a slow burn, so if you're gonna read this, keep that in mind. A lot of the references to the Greek text and ancient Greek are over my head, and I feel like I would have gotten more out of it if I was more familiar with those references. This is a dark book, like emphasis on dark academia. The ending was incredibly messed up, more messed up than I had originally imagined. There's more than just one death. There is just so much messed up about this book. The narrator is so unreliable, so unlikable, but yet the fall vibes, the atmosphere, the imagery of just being addicted to drugs, chasing beauty and perfection to the point that it becomes dangerous is such a vibe in this book. And I really enjoyed it. The only reason I'm not gonna give it 5 stars is because I do feel like the middle was really, really slow, and that's why I stopped reading it and had to come back to this so many times, because it is very dark, it's very dense. There's a lot of references that were over my head, and it does make you feel kind of stupid, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like there's so many things that I could have annotated and broken down and learned more about through reading this, but I didn't. It was so suspenseful that I just wanted to get to the end and I wanted to know what happened. So I will say I do recommend this book. I'm really excited to read If We Were Villains because I've heard people say that that one is shorter, it's a little bit faster paced, and the characters, rather than being obsessed with ancient Greek, they're obsessed with Shakespeare and the arts, which feels more up my alley, and I might get way more of those references than I did in this book. So I'm definitely gonna pick up If We Were Villains. That's my plan. After I finish reading The Night Circus, I wanna pick up If We Were Villains, and hopefully I'm thinking that's gonna be in this vlog. So after I finished The Secret History and just sat there thinking to myself, what did I just read? I just felt mentally dead. I was just like, what just happened? I hated what happened in this, but then I missed the characters that I hated so much. It's so weird. I miss the feeling of reading this book. It's very weird. If you know, you know. Anyway, so then I picked up Night Circus, and I am currently about 60 pages into this. Writing style is way different than The Secret History. The Secret History is told in first person. The Night Circus is a third person. It was kind of jarring switching the writing styles in general, but I am really liking this so far. So The Night Circus takes place in London, in Paris, in the 1800s, and it follows what is called the Night Circus, which is essentially a circus that doesn't have any advertising. It doesn't advertise itself. It just shows up in random cities. Nobody ever knows when it's coming, when it's going. 2 magicians decide to train these young children and prepare them for some sort of challenge where they have to fight against each other, but it's super vague. You have no idea what this challenge is. I am already 60 pages through, and it's pretty much just been their backstory, where the 5-year-old girl came from, where the boy was found, and them developing their magical skills to duel against each other. They don't know who their opponent's going to be. I will say I did pick this up because someone on TikTok said that the fall imagery was incredible, and that was one of the reasons why she loved it so much. I have yet to experience that, but again, I'm only 60 pages in, so I'm excited to see what happens. So far, it feels very rushed because it's within 60 pages, it's already spanned probably 15 years, and it feels kind of like a quick synopsis to get us to the main meat of the story. I'm really liking it, and I'm very excited to see where it goes. So I'm gonna keep reading this, and I'll probably film myself baking an apple pie later this week, and I will catch up with you guys when I'm a little bit further into it. been nearly a week and a half since I last updated you guys in the previous clips. And that's because, as I had mentioned at the beginning of this video, I was feeling sick. Sunday night, randomly I just got hit with a wall of body aches, chills, high fever, throwing up, and just the works. I haven't been that sick in years. Now I have a lingering cough, but I feel so much better. Last week, I couldn't do anything except sleep. I couldn't even read. But then this week, I've been catching up on work and catching up on reading, and finally, I am back to update you guys and hopefully back to our regular scheduled programming. Not wait to get back into the gym, and hopefully I don't get sick like that again for a long time. I did end up finishing The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. This book is really strange. It feels really difficult to rate because I had a good time while I was reading it. Every time that I put it down, I would look forward to picking it back up again. I felt like the descriptions of the circus and the imagery in this was really, really strong, and that is what kept me reading. It felt like everything that you wish a circus would be. I loved that aspect of it. However, I felt so far removed and disconnected from the characters that it was hard for me to be invested in the plot and the romance that happens in this book. And it's also very confusing. I don't know if it's because I was sick while I was reading this or if it's actually confusing. Let me know in the comments below if you've read this. But by the end of it, I wasn't satisfied with the way things tied up. But I had a great time the whole time reading it. I just didn't feel connected to the characters at all. I couldn't care less about some of these characters. But I really loved the circus itself and, like I said, the descriptions, the imagery. So if you're looking for a book that feels really magical and it feels like you're attending a circus, like your dream circus, if you're looking for something like that, I think you'll like this. If you're looking for something where there's a lot of character development and you feel really attached to the characters, maybe don't pick this one up yet. I think I would give this maybe like a 3.75 to 4-star rating. I wanted initially to give this 4 stars, but then when I think about some other 4-star reads that I have that aren't quite 5-star, I don't know. It's a gray area, and sometimes I'm like, why do I even need to give an official rating? I do recommend this book, and that's why I find number ratings kind of difficult, because something that is a 4 or 5-star for me for specific reasons, you might not like for those exact same specific reasons. So if you were looking for something, like I said, that feels like the ideal circus, the circus of your dreams, and you don't care too much about character development or feeling attached to the characters or close or getting really insights into their emotions and feelings, then I would highly recommend this book. I think it's so fun to read in the fall, and I would recommend anyone give this a try. I mean, if you get 20 pages into it and you don't like it, guess what? You can DNF. Instead of picking up If We Were Villains like I had originally planned, I decided to go with a different dark academia, and I picked up Bunny by Mona Awad. I am currently on page 118, and at first I didn't want to read this because I was scared that it was going to be gross. I thought it was going to be really gruesome and hard to read. And I will say it is weird. The main character is strange, the writing is strange, but it's so captivating and I can't put it down. I love it. I'm having so much fun. There was one part so far that was a bit gruesome, but that was one thing that really grossed me out, and it was 118 pages in. I'm hoping there's not too much more like gruesome murdery vibes in here. It's also like a fever dream. Yes, that's what this feels like, reading a fever dream. We have our main character, and she's attending a riding school, and her cohort is made up of 4 other girls who are kind of cliquey, and they're all super close best friends. They're kind of rich twee girls. They all call each other Bunny. And she's been kind of the outsider. Our main character has been kind of the outsider since attending this college. They're in either their 2nd or 3rd year of school, and suddenly the bunnies start interacting with our main character and inviting her to things, and she kind of gets swept up in this weird culture that they have going on in this, I don't even know. It feels like we're just barreling towards something terrible, and I don't know what it is. I don't know what's going to happen. You also kind of don't know if things are real, if she's having a dream, if she's going crazy. And I guess it's kind of like a commentary on the dark side of female friendship. It makes you feel slightly uncomfortable, but not too uncomfortable that I wouldn't want to read it, because I really don't like feeling super grossed out or uncomfortable. I wouldn't consider this horror, but it does have light horror elements. Like I said, there's one scene where, if you don't want to hear this, skip ahead like 2 minutes. There's a scene where, I don't even know if this really happened or if she was dreaming it or going crazy, where someone's head explodes. And it like describes that happening. Ew, that grossed me out. But the way she describes everything else, Mona Awad is probably one of my favorite authors now, just from 118 pages. I haven't read any of her other books even. But her writing style is so unique and so bingeable and so strange, but in the best way, that I cannot wait to read the rest of this book, and then I want to immediately pick up Rouge. With that being said, I'm going to end this reading vlog here, and I'm pretty much immediately going to start another reading vlog soon where I'm going to be reading a bunch of new releases. So if you're interested in that, be sure to subscribe, and I hope to see you guys in my next video. Bye!